Do you realize that, Sheryl Swoopes, you're insane to do that? Let me tell you why you're insane to do that. Because Sheryl Swoopes, you're one of the greatest players ever in the history of basketball. That's why.
The face of women's basketball was overcome with emotion. Sheryl Swoopes, the WNBA trailblazer who paved the way for female athletes, became visibly upset after learning of Caitlin Clark's unprecedented LPGA deal. But these were not tears of joy. What stirred such a strong reaction in the three-time MVP and basketball icon? And why is Clark's latest venture sending tremors not just through basketball, but the entire sporting world? Stay with us, because this narrative is much larger than the game itself.
You won a championship in college at Texas Tech. You won 3 Olympic gold medals. You won 4 WNBA championships. You know basketball. You know basketball better than me. You know basketball than any of the pundits. You know basketball better than most of the men that play basketball. There is no way in hell you just accidentally left Caitlin Clark's name out of that soliloquy that you dropped about the Indiana Fever. Stop it.
Let's go back for a moment. If you're not familiar with Sheryl Swoopes, think of her as the Michael Jordan of women's basketball. That was her status. In 1997, at the WNBA's inception, Swoopes was the very first player signed to the league. She was a dominant force on the court, amassing 3 MVP titles and 4 championships. She was doing more than playing basketball. She was redefining the possibilities for women in professional sports.
And so I think just having fun and like getting to be with, 2 of the best to, probably ever play this game, it's super fun and special for me. Like, I'm a fan of both of them, but a fan of, all the women on this tour. I think it's absolutely incredible. So it's special for myself. I've tried to practice as much as I can. I mean, I'm just the average golfer, gonna hit some good, gonna hit some bad. It is what it is. Just gonna try not to hit anyone standing outside the ropes.
The thing about Swoopes is, she didn't just play the game, she fundamentally changed it. In the 90s, when women's pro basketball was virtually unknown in America, she was out there dazzling opponents and scoring 40 points with ease. Her talent was so undeniable that Nike launched a signature shoe for her, the Air Swoopes. While common today, back then, this was groundbreaking. Only one female athlete, Cheryl Miller, had received such an honor before her. Yet Swoopes' influence extended far beyond the court. She became a beacon of hope for young girls everywhere. Stepping onto the floor for the Houston Comets, she played for every girl who had been told basketball was a man's sport, and she proved them wrong emphatically. Recall that legendary triple-double. It was the first in WNBA history. Swoopes delivered numbers that forced everyone, regardless of gender, to pay attention. She wasn't just great for a woman, she was simply phenomenal, full stop. Her crossover was lethal, her defense relentless, and her basketball IQ was completely off the charts. But being a pioneer comes with its challenges. Swoopes competed in an era where WNBA athletes had to play overseas in the off-season to earn a decent wage. Endorsement opportunities were scarce, and media attention was minimal to say the least. She fought constant battles, both on and off the court, advocating for better compensation, greater recognition, and respect for the women's game. Flash forward to today, and a new name, Caitlin Clark, is dominating the headline. The Indiana Fever rookie has been shattering records with a playing style often likened to Steph Curry's, but it's her off-court moves that are turning heads, specifically her historic deal with Gainbridge, a major LPGA tournament sponsor.
But, I can tell you substantially more than what she's making in the WNBA. I do think she needs to be paid fairly, and we would be offering her a fair compensation for.
This is where
the narrative takes a fascinating turn. Clark is no ordinary rookie. She entered the WNBA with a level of hype typically reserved for NBA megastars. Throughout her college tenure at Iowa, she performed feats that seemed impossible, pulling up for the logo as if it were a free throw, delivering passes worthy of Magic Johnson, and compiling stats that had analysts rechecking their data. Yet what truly sets Clark apart isn't just her talent, it's her magnetism. When she plays, arenas are packed. When she talks, the world listens. And when she makes a move, on or off the court, it commands attention. She has transcended the role of a basketball player to become a cultural phenomenon. Consider this. Before Clark, when did you last see fans camping out for a women's basketball game? When were regular season WNBA games a primetime television event? Clark hasn't merely joined the league, she has reshaped it. The statistics paint a clear picture. Since Clark's arrival, Indiana Fever home games are the most sought-after tickets in town, with attendance surging by over 200% in some arenas. TV ratings are soaring. Social media engagement is through the roof. She is making the WNBA must-see TV, a feat few believed possible. But this is where complexities arise. Such rapid success often invites scrutiny, and Clark's ascent has drawn skeptics. Some label her as overhyped, while others claim her fame is more about marketing than actual merit. And then there's Swoopes, whose connection to Clark's success is, to put it mildly, complicated. Swoopes has observed all this from a unique vantage point, as someone who fought tirelessly for every ounce of recognition women's basketball received. Seeing Clark enter the league and instantly receive opportunities unimaginable to her generation is bound to evoke complex feeling. When Clark first joined the WNBA, Swoopes made some remarks that raised eyebrows, questioning if Clark's college dominance would translate to the pros and wondering if the immense attention was justified. Some interpreted it as envy, while others saw it as tough love from a veteran who understands the professional grind. Then the LPGA deal was announced, and it altered the entire conversation. This was more than another endorsement, it was something entirely new. A basketball player, and a rookie at that, inking a major contract with a golf organization. It was unheard of. The reported value in the millions of some Swoopes and her peers could only have dreamed of. The deal itself is remarkable. Gainbridge, a key LPGA sponsor, identified in Clark as star quality that went beyond basketball. They saw an athlete who could engage new audiences, bridge the gap between sports, and potentially shift the public perception of women's athletics entirely. And their bet is paying off. Since the announcement, ticket sales for the LPGA event have soared. The Golf Channel has had to revamp its programming to meet the demand for Clark's appearance. Social media is alive with conversation from both golf and basketball fans, all curious to see how Clark performs. This brings us back to that pivotal moment when Swoopes heard the news. She was a guest on the Gills Arena podcast, a show known for its candid basketball discussions. When the host mentioned Clark's LPGA contract, Swoopes fell silent. For someone known for her outspoken nature, the silence was deafening. When she finally spoke, her voice was thick with emotion. This wasn't the confident, poised Swoopes the world knew. This was a person grappling with a profound shift in the very world she helped build. "I never thought I'd see the day," she said, tears forming in her eyes. The public reaction to Swoopes' emotional moment was divided. Some saw it as a poignant acknowledgement of how far women's sports have progressed, a pioneer witnessing the results of her struggles, even if another is reaping the rewards. Others interpreted it more critically, suggesting her tears betrayed a difficulty in accepting Clark's success. But perhaps neither view captures the full picture. Maybe this isn't about Swoopes versus Clark. Perhaps it's about the larger journey of women's sports, where each generation stands on the shoulders of the one before. Consider the facts. Swoopes endured battles that created the opportunities Clark now enjoys. She played in near-empty arenas, so Clark could play in sold-out stadiums. She accepted modest endorsements, so future stars could sign multi-million-dollar contracts. She laid the foundation upon which Clark and her contemporaries are now building. However, progress isn't always a comfortable experience, even for its champion. To watch someone else achieve things in your sport that you fought for, but never experienced yourself, is bound to stir complicated emotions. This doesn't diminish Swoopes' legacy as a pioneer, nor does it take away from Clark's accomplishment. The LPGA deal signifies something greater than a single endorsement. It's a testament to the evolution of women's sports. When Clark tees off on that golf course, she's not just playing around, she's demonstrating that female athletes can transcend their chosen sport. She's proving women's sports are about more than just competition. They're about entertainment, influence, and shattering barriers. Let's discuss the future implications. Historically, female athletes were confined to their specific sport. Basketball players stayed in their lane, golfers in theirs, with limited crossover appeal. Clark's LPGA partnership is completely rewriting that script. The data from her first LPGA event tells a remarkable story, a 300% surge in ticket sales for the Pro-Am day. Media credential requests were so overwhelming they had to be capped. The Golf Channel even altered its broadcast schedule, starting 90 minutes early just to air Clark's full round. But what's truly compelling is that it's not just golf enthusiasts showing up. People with no prior interest in the sport are buying tickets. Parents are bringing their children, not just to see golf, but to see Caitlin Clark. She's attracting a new demographic to women's golf, just as she did with women's basketball, and that is precisely what makes some people uneasy. Change often does. When Clark first appeared at the Pro-Am, skeptics emerged. She's not a real golfer, they argued. She's diverting attention from professional golfers. Sound familiar? It's the same critique women often face when they venture into new territory. This leads us back to Swoopes' emotional response. During the podcast, after her initial tears, she began to pose questions, important ones. Is Clark's fame about her on-court prowess? Her impact on the game? Or something else entirely? These are not just questions about Clark, they are inquiries into the future of women's athletics. The reality is, it's about all of those factors and more. Clark's on-court success was the foundation, but her appeal extends beyond statistics. She has become a new symbol of possibility, much like Swoopes was in her time. The key difference is Clark is operating in an age where social media can amplify her influence, streaming services can broadcast her every action, and corporations are finally recognizing the immense value of women's sports. Consider what happened during Clark's WNBA debut. The TV ratings were not just strong, they were historic, drawing 2.3 million viewers. To put that into context, some regular season NBA games failed to reach those numbers, and it wasn't a fluke. Every game Clark plays attracts a massive audience. The effect on merchandise has been equally astounding. Clark's Indiana Fever jersey sold out just hours after its release, forcing the league to expedite production. Indianapolis businesses began creating Clark-themed products. Even opposing teams experienced a surge in ticket sales when the Fever visited. But here is the most interesting part. Clark's influence goes beyond ticket and jersey sales. She is changing how women's sports are viewed as a business. Previously, many brands considered women's sports a niche market. Now they see significant financial opportunity and, more importantly, potential. This brings up a crucial point about the LPGA deal. Golf was not a random selection for Clark. She has played since childhood and is quite skilled. But her golf ability isn't why Gainbridge signed her. They signed her because of what she represents, the future of sports marketing, where athletes are not defined by their gender or primary sport. The golf world's reaction has been intriguing. LPGA players have welcomed Clark, understanding that her celebrity can elevate their sport. When Clark played the Pro-Am alongside Nelly Korda, the world's top female golfer, the crowd surpassed those of many official tournament rounds. Still, not everyone has embraced this evolution. Some traditionalists in both sports question if this benefits either one, worrying about commercialization, style over substance, and the sustainability of this new era. These are not new anxiety. They are the same concerns voiced when Swoopes' generation fought for better pay and recognition, the same doubts that arose when the WNBA was founded. Yet here we are, witnessing women's sports achieve heights that seemed unimaginable only a few years ago. This poses an important question. What does this mean for the next generation? Young girls watching Clark see more than a basketball player. They see someone redefining what is possible. They see that they don't have to choose between being an athlete and a businesswoman. They see that they can forge their own unique path, and that is where Swoopes' tears gain even greater meaning. Because while she may have mixed feelings about Clark's success, she cannot deny that this is precisely what she and her generation fought for. They fought for a future where female athletes are valued, respected, and given every opportunity to thrive. The media's coverage of Clark's LPGA debut tells its own tale. It's not just sports channels paying attention. Mainstream news organizations are covering it, and social media is buzzing. Clark is bringing a level of attention to women's sports that transcends traditional sports media. Perhaps the most significant aspect of this situation is its effect on corporate investment. Since Clark's rise, more companies are investing in women's sports, recognizing the money to be made, the audiences to be engaged, and the stories to be told. The impact is felt beyond basketball and golf. Other women's leagues are observing closely, studying how Clark's team has managed her crossover appeal and looking to create similar opportunities for their own athletes. This may be the dawn of a new age in women's sports market. While some may view Swoopes' emotional reaction as resistance to change, it's perhaps more accurate to see it as a powerful acknowledgement of just how far women's sports have progressed. During her playing career, the idea of a female athlete signing a multi-million-dollar contract with a golf organization would have sounded like science fiction. Looking forward, Clark's LPGA deal is likely just the start. As more companies grasp the potential of women's sports, as more barriers fall, and as more young athletes see what is achievable, we could be entering a golden age for women's athletics. And while that progress may be uncomfortable at times, even for pioneers like Swoopes, it is the very future they fought to create. Whether you're on Team Swoopes or Team Clark, one thing is certain: women's sports have been changed forever. And if this story has taught us anything, it's that we are witnessing history in the making. Don't miss out on more stories like this one. Hit subscribe and enable notifications. Leave a comment below with your take on Clark's historic deal. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.